to show you how to make easy unstuffed peppers in the Instant Pot. Again, guys, today we're gonna make unstuffed peppers in the Instant Pot. I've made stuffed peppers in the Instant Pot before. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it above here so you can check it out. But tonight we're gonna do a little bit of a twist on that and do unstuffed peppers. As always, I will link the recipe I use down below in the description box if you wanna check that out. Let's get started. The ingredients we're gonna be using today is we're gonna use ground beef, onion, bell pepper. It calls for tomato sauce. I do not have that, so I'm going to improvise with tomato paste. Diced tomatoes, garlic. I'm using garlic paste. Calls for broth. I'm going to use bone broth, Worcestershire sauce, rice, salt, pepper, and some shredded cheese. So to get started, I'm going to get my vegetables chopped up off camera to save a little time, so I'll see you back here once I have that done. Alright guys, so I've got our onion and bell pepper cut up. The difference between this recipe and the stuffed pepper recipe, it's really the same. The only difference is we're not taking the meat mixture and stuffing it into the peppers. We're taking slices of peppers and adding that into a meat mixture. So I've already put some ghee in the Instant Pot and put it on saute mode. That's heated up. So I'm going to add our onion first. We want to saute our onion. I always like to saute that before I add my ground beef, just to get them a little bit cooked through before adding my meat to brown. So I'm gonna let this cook for probably not till they're all the way done, but that they're a little bit softer. Then we're gonna add our garlic and ground beef and brown that. Alright guys, so our onions are starting to turn, so I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic paste and ground beef. I've showed you this before. Instead of using fresh garlic, I'm just using a garlic paste. The recipe calls for 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, so I'm just going to eyeball it and add that in with my onions. That looks good. Now I'm going to add my ground beef. What I found with this garlic paste is when I was adding it in to saute with the onions, it kind of got overdone. So now I'm going to just start adding it as I use it once my onions are almost done, so that doesn't get overcooked. I've got 1 pound of ground beef. We're just going to add that right in there. So we are going to let this brown. Once it's browned, we'll drain off the grease, and I will see you back for our next step. The only seasoning this recipe calls for is salt and pepper, and it's basically just salt and pepper to taste. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now while my meat's browning so it can get cooked in with the meat. And I, as a lot of things, just eyeball the seasonings, kind of get it to what we like. Remember, you can always add more at the end if you need to. All right, you guys, our ground beef is all nice and browned. I've already drained the fat off of it. Now it's time to add the rest of our ingredients. So let's go ahead and do that. We're just gonna dump everything in the pot with the ground beef. We're gonna start with our bell peppers. I've chopped them into strips and then into thirds, so they're kind of chunky. And I used 2 medium-sized bell peppers. I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of rice. We are going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. We have a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. I just got the fire roasted. You don't need to drain these. You're going to pour them in with the juice. It does call for a 1/2 cup of beef broth, chicken broth. I'm using what we always use is our beef bone broth. Now, here's where I'm going to kind of improvise. It calls for an 8 ounce can of tomato sauce. I don't have tomato sauce, but I do have a 6 ounce can of tomato paste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of bone broth, which is essentially 2 ounces. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to mix my tomato paste with the 2 ounces of broth to give me 8 ounces essentially of tomato sauce. Yeah, it may not be the exact same thing, but it's pretty much the same concept. All right, we're just gonna kind of mix that up to get a tomato sauce consistency. Almost kind of like adding water or milk to a condensed soup is kind of how I would look at it. It may not be as runny as a tomato sauce, but that's okay because we've already got some other liquid in with it, the other bone broth. I'm gonna add just a tad more bone broth. Just eyeballing that, just to get it a little bit more liquidy consistency rather than a paste. There we go. And we're just gonna add that right in with everything else. And the tomato paste, it may actually give it a little bit better flavor. I found sometimes with just straight tomato sauce, it doesn't have that great of a flavor, and we've actually added like ketchup to the top of our stuffed peppers just to give it a little bit of extra kick. So I'm hoping this tomato paste will actually give it that little extra kick. Now that we have everything in the Instant Pot, we want to just give it a good stir to get it all mixed together. All right, so it doesn't have to be perfect. That is pretty good and mixed. Now that we have everything mixed in, we're gonna go ahead and add our lid. You want to make sure, as always, that your vent is to ceiling because we are using pressure cooker mode. We're going to cook this manual, high pressure for 5 minutes. As soon as it comes to pressure, it'll cook for 5 minutes and then it will beep to let us know it's done. We are going to let it do a natural pressure release for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then we'll do a quick release. So I'll show you that when we get to it. All right, guys, so our pressure cooker has stopped. I let it do a manual release for 3 minutes. Now I'm going to do a quick release. So I'm gonna put a washcloth over our vent. That just prevents when you first open it for the water and steam to spew right out. So our valve has dropped, which means all the pressure is released and it's safe to open. Let's see what we got. Ooh, that looks good. That's gonna be really good. What you guys think? All right, let's get this plated up and I'll show you the finished product. All right, guys, so that is an easy Instant Pot recipe for unstuffed peppers. It looks, it smells delicious, and I know it's gonna taste really, really good. Make sure to check the description box for the recipe that I used if you're interested. If you do make this, come back and let me know. If you've made it before, let me know down in the comments how much you like it. Thank you guys always for watching and subscribing, and until our next video, peace, love, and expediting.